Okay, another assertion reason question. The size of the action potential is unaffected by the increase in the intensity of stimulation beyond the threshold level. The reason says all or none law that all neurons must fire at the same time for the impulse to be transmitted, which is correct. Yes, both of these statements are correct, but it is not the correct explanation. Assertion says it is talking about the action potential and the intensity of the firing of the neurons, okay? And it is talking about the size of the action potential. All or none law is talking about if all the neurons fire at the same time or not. Both of the statements are correct, but the explanation is not correct, okay? Freud's patient suffered from nervous disorder for which he and other doctors could not find any physical cause. Reason says Freud proposed that there is an unconscious mind into which we push or repress all of our threatening urges and desires. These repressed urges, in trying to surface, created the nervous disorders in his patients. So, the Freud's patient, they did suffer from nervous disorders. It is true. And nobody was able to find the cause for it. And of course, Freud's theory states that they are going to be going to the unconscious mind and understanding all the urges and desires. And that is what he considered as the cause of the nervous disorders. So, reason is the correct explanation of the above assertion. Adoption studies have demonstrated that schizophrenia is not influenced by genetic factors. Is it true? Environmental conditions give rise to schizophrenic disorders. So adoption studies have demonstrated that schizophrenia is not influenced by genetic factors. Do you think genetic factors don't influence schizophrenia and environmental conditions give rise to schizophrenia, which is true? Yes, but first statement is not true because schizophrenia does get influenced by genetic factors. If your first relative or your parents or your grandparents, somebody suffered from schizophrenia, then there are high chances that you or your sibling or your parents, they may also suffer from schizophrenia. Second statement is, of course, true. Yes, environmental conditions, genetic factors, many things affect schizophrenic disorders. Okay, so now you have to match the list with the concept. Over here, I'll just give you the answers. This one is a little tricky. Spearman, he gave the concept of tetrad equation. Okay, and Jensen, he gave the concept of regression argument, right? He just now studied a bit about Jensen. He was giving the intelligence on level 1 and level 2. And Sternberg, he gave the triarchy, Robert Sternberg's triarchic theory of intelligence, right? Yes, and what does it include? Robert Sternberg's theory, analytical intelligence, practical intelligence, right? Logical intelligence, conceptual intelligence. Yes, so there are three: analytical, practical, and conceptual. Skettle gave the theory of second order. He gave the second order items, Raymond Kettle. Now, what do you call the tendency where you remember the uncompleted tasks better than the completed ones? It is known as the Zeigarnik effect. Okay. Then you tend to remember the tasks that you haven't completed till now better than the ones you have already completed. For a swimmer, the information of how to swim, what is this kind of memory and where will it be stored out of the options? The memories about how to ride a bicycle, how to drive, how to cook certain dishes, and how to swim. These kind of memories are actually procedural. Because you cannot explain them verbally. You just remember, you just know how to do it. So it's procedural memory. The memories of our childhood would be part of which of the following memory? If you remember memories of your childhood, it cannot be short-term memory because you still remember them. It cannot be sensory memory because they were stored in long-term memory. Working memory, no, because working memory runs on the current situation. So it's going to be autobiographical memory because it's memory from your past. Now you have to name the Indian psychologists. Take few seconds and then I'll tell the answer. Okay, so the correct answer is S.M. Mosin, C.M. Bhatia, and Yogendra Singh. These three people are part of Indian psychologist team. Okay, so now you have to match the theories of emotion with their description. Remember the sequence. First is James Launch, Cannonball, and then Shatter and Singer approach. Okay. The first was common sense theory and then James Launch theory. James Launch theory talked about when our body, like first our physiological response happens and then emotional reaction happens. Okay. So James Launch theory, C is going to be matched with the first. Yes. Awareness of the bodily response to a situation leads to experience and emotion. And Shatter and Singer approach. Okay, sorry, we'll do in a sequence. A Cannonball approach would be information about stimulus producing emotion goes to thalamus. Okay, so what was Cannonball approach? The both of them happen at the same time. Emotion and physiological response, right? Shatter and Singer, they talked about the cognitive labeling. An opponent process approach talks about the reaction that automatically follows an emotional response. An opposite reaction is automatically formed after an emotional response. So the correct option is third one.